Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phil's Place. Tomislav, how are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for joining. My good buddy Tom resides in Georgetown, Ontario, which is part of the GTA, correct?
Correct. Just
Yes.
about
And
an
we
hour.
met a couple years ago here in Pittsburgh at Permane Brothers in Moon Township, and we hit it off right away, and we've remained in touch. And I know that we'll be probably hanging out hopefully this summer, maybe at a Blue Jays game or something like that. You
Sounds
know,
good.
I've been to a couple Blue Jays games. I'm a fan of the Blue Jays. I'm still disappointed in the World Series. That game was just inches away from it being the Blue Jays World Series, their victory, you know. um, but Tom, with you being, a Canadian resident and me being an American resident, we're gonna get into the gold medal game.
Sounds good.
And we can make predictions or do whatever with that, but it's going to be one hell of a game. But let me explain first why we're wearing black and gold instead of Tom wearing his Team Canada jersey and me wearing my USA gear. Number one, Tom, obviously you're a big fan of Jerome Bettis and a big fan of the Steelers. You're as Steelers as they get. You're the Canadian bus. That's your nickname. And I agreed to go black and gold because, for one, we're mourning the loss of Bill Mazeroski. He passed away this morning. Bill Mazeroski is famous for hitting the game-winning walk-off home run to clinch the 1960 World Series Game 7. He was also an outstanding second baseman throughout his career, and he is a member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. So he made it all the way to 89. He would have been 90 this year, but he's a hero here in Pittsburgh, and it's definitely a huge loss for us Pirates fans. And I am wearing a Sidney Crosby Penguins jersey. I have a Lemieux jersey upstairs. Like you, I'm a massive hockey fan, Tom. I have a lot of respect for other teams. Let's start with, I have some hats here just to prove. Got my Leafs hat.
Beauty.
Got, this might piss some people off. I got my Canadian hat. I saw the look on your face. I got my Quebec Nordiques old school hat, which
Old
is one of the best
school.
logos and uniforms ever. And of course, I mentioned the Toronto Blue Jays. Got my
Nice.
Jays hat. The reason why I have a Montreal Canadiens hat, Tom, I don't know if I told you this, but my grandmother was actually born in Montreal. So, she spoke French. She just didn't teach us any French. So, but she was an awesome lady. And in her day, if anyone is going to rip on me talking about my grandmother being from Montreal, when this is up and running in our social media, I'll just tell you right now, I should have whipped all your asses in her prime. There's no question
Beauty.
about that. Okay, Tom, gold medal game. This is huge. I don't know if you're on NHL Uncensored, the Facebook page, but there's so much crazy dialogue taking place between the American fans and the Canadian fans. It's like borderline hatred. I don't think we need to go that far, though. Tom, what's your take on Team Canada?
They've not played to their potential. That's my take. Losing Sidney Crosby the other game, he's looks like he's 70%. He might dress for the gold medal game.
Right.
The last two games Canada's played, if they give up a couple quick goals to the Americans, I think it's going to be over real fast.
Oh,
I it's tough from watching. I've watched as much as I could because I'm working.
right.
I think the American defense is a lot better. Their forwards are grittier, and they're going to get under our skin. And if we take stupid penalties and we give them power play time and give them a 2-goal lead, I think it's going to be really tough to come back. And I'll take Hellebuck over Bennington any day.
um, well, that brings us back to the Four Nations series last year. That game was won on goaltending. Bennington was standing on his head. Hellebuck was playing great too throughout that series, but when Bennington was just unstoppable. And I wear an objective lens here. Okay, I'm not going to be rah rah USA. Obviously, I want USA to win, but on the other hand, from what you're saying, you got two, maybe three of the best forwards in the game of hockey. And Connor McDavid, first and foremost, Nathan McKinnon, and I've been a huge fan of Macklin Celebrini. I
Well,
think at some point, for only being 19, man, at some point soon, he's going to be the face of Canada, Canadian hockey, and the NHL. He is that good. Um,
agreed.
yeah, and one of the stats I look at for every hockey game and total accumulation is the plus minus. Celebrini's a +7. Connor McDavid's a +7. Um, Ironically, I'm pulling this up right now. I mean, for this conversation, Sidney Crosby's actually a +3, but and actually Mitch Marner's a +5. Um, but my point is, when you got that line on the ice, they're a threat. They got speed. They're snipers, and they concern me as far as, what could happen, what the outcome could be in this game. But I will agree, the aside from Cole McCarr, I mean, he's a stud, and he can also rip one too. Quinn Hughes, he's got so much speed. He's like a Bobby Orr, a 2026 version of Bobby Orr is what
100%.
he is. There's no question about that. Uh, but so's Cale Makar. I mean, they're both equal in my opinion. I think, like what you said, the Kachuk brothers can get under anyone's skin. They very well could, play a role and putting, someone in a penalty box and USA scoring a power play goal. I don't know that USA is going to jump up to like a 2-0 lead or have a 2-goal lead going in the third period or anything like that. I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a very physical game. You're going to see a lot of speed. It's going to be dynamic, and it's going to be reminiscent to a certain degree of the 2010 game, the gold medal game.
Agreed.
I think, you know, and I can tell you firsthand. I had one of my nephews over to watch that game, and I said to him at the end of the third period, before overtime, I'll be happy for Team Canada if Sidney Crosby scores. And sure enough, I could still hear him yelling, Iggy, Iggy, and just burning the crap out of Ryan Miller. It was great. It was awesome. I was happy for Sid. Sid is as godlike as you can get here in Pittsburgh. Very loved and respected, great guy. I've met him a couple times. Very, very friendly. But I just don't know. I don't know if I can put a prediction on this game, Tom. I really
I'm
don't know.
I'm in the same boat. I can't see it being more than a goal plus an empty netter or going into overtime. I just have that feeling that, like you mentioned, 2010, Four Nations, losing to Canada both times. After watching what they did to Slovakia yesterday, I think they picked it up at that little level, and I think they're ready to show the world that they're, gold medalists. Again, I'm Canadian. I want Canada to win. I'm just worried about stupid penalties.
Right,
Wilson, not so much Marchand. He's been pretty quiet. Wilson, Bennett took another dumb one going into the net yesterday.
right,
I mean, it's going to be tough. If the Americans can stop that first line, like you said, McKinnon, Celebrini, and McDavid, it'll quiet the crowd, and there's going to be a lot of guys holding their sticks a lot tighter on the bench. If Crosby's there, I mean, how much is he going to be able to play? Is he going to be 100% or close to it? That'll make a big difference if he's out there, because then the lines the line adjusted accordingly, right?
Right. I
Um,
I think with Crosby, to be honest with you, I think he dresses, plays a limited role, will be on the power play. But yeah, I just don't know. I'm thankful that he's not seriously injured. Let's just say that. I think everybody is, and I
I
do
think it's
hope.
sorry
I
to
do
cut you
hope.
off. I think it's going to come down to special teams. Whoever
Right,
gets those power plays, both power play units are crazy good. I saw the Americans yesterday moving that puck around. Like any 10 guys for those two power play units is it's disgusting.
right.
Hughes, Matthews, Eichel, Kachucks, Wierenski, Jack Hughes, Tage Thompson. I mean, it just goes down the list. The Americans, the Canadians have their one stack line. I mean, the second line's okay, but 1 to 2, the Americans have the edge. I
Right.
haven't looked at the penalty killing stats. I mean, a lot of these games have been weeded out because a lot of these teams aren't that good. Penalty killing, when it comes down to goaltending, again, you touch base on Binnington won the Four Nations. Hellebuck didn't look the greatest. Matthews had a chance to win it for the Americans in the Four Nations. I think he clanked the crossbar. So it could
Right.
have gone either way last time. I just up here, me and my coworker talk about it all the time. It's either big game Binnington or St. Louis Binnington. And if
Yeah.
St. Louis
Right.
Binnington shows up, it's over.
It's, you know what, it's gonna be a whole new level for all the players, both teams. They both want it equally. They both want it very badly. It's these games we talked about in the past were epic. I think tomorrow's gonna be epic too. There's not gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be very close. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think it's gonna be like another low scoring game, like a whoever wins could be 3-2 type of game. And I just can't wait to watch it. I'm meeting some friends tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock a.m. Primanti Brothers actually.
Nice.
You open at 8. Um, and I think it's going to be a packed house, to be honest with you. So, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like up in Canada. I kind of feel bad for the folks out west in British Columbia having to be up by 5 a.m. to watch Face Off. Um, that's pretty damn early. But, there's no question, both countries are going to be rocking, but especially Canada because I mean, this is Canada's sport. It really is. Um, the United States is just so damn big, and hockey's picked up pretty well here in the states. But if you're talking the northern portion of the country, hockey's huge.
Right.
It's huge in Minnesota, it's huge in Wisconsin, it's huge in Michigan, huge in New England, New York State, here in Pennsylvania. Really picked up in Ohio big time. In fact, JT Miller and Vincent Trocheck are from Pittsburgh. Yeah. And JT Miller was born just across the Ohio River in East Palestine, Ohio, but the family moved here because of his hockey. He played a lot of games down at Robert Morris University, which is just, not too far from where we live. And his mother was 5 minutes away from us. Um, and I know a lot of people that know JT. I've never met JT, but they say he's just the nicest guy in the world. But hockey players in general are very nice people anyway. They're the nicest of all the professional athletes. And Vincent Trocheck's from the South Hills of Pittsburgh. So, you know, we got some skin in the game as Pittsburghers. We want them to see a goal to get a gold. And Logan Cooley, had he not been injured, I think he would have been on the roster. He's from Pittsburgh also. Plays for the Utah Mammoth. He's a young guy. I think what, third season in, something like that. Um, but great player, but he got hurt this season. So, but I think Canada wins this game. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I apologize to all Americans saying this, but I do think Canada finds a way to win this game, and I do think it'll be because of Binnington, just like last year for the Four Nations. It came down to goaltending.
And I'm going to apologize to all my Canadians and all my friends here. I think it's going to go the other way. I just feeling it's going to be a dirty goal. It's going to be a Kachuk bang in. something to that effect, or a stupid penalty taken and a power play goal late and an empty netter. I just have that feeling the tide eventually has to shift. The Americans, I mean, from watching it from afar and having a lot of American friends, I've just seen it slowly progressing, and I can see it in their faces. They, not saying that we don't want it. I can just see that they're hungry. They're really hungry.
Right.
And it would really suck for McDavid, who's lost the last 2 Stanley Cups, to lose in a gold medal game. That would really, really suck. So
Yeah.
maybe got that little chip on his shoulder and, saying, listen, you know what? I've lost a couple Stanley Cups to this guy. I don't want to lose a gold medal to him. I mean, it's so hard to call. I don't want to, I'd love to see Canada win 5-0, but I don't think it's going to be that. Like I said before, I think it's going to be a 1-goal game, empty netter, or it goes in overtime. And thank God they don't have that 3-on-3 in the gold medal game, because I think that's another topic.
Right.
Um, 5-on-5 is the way hockey should be played. I think it's a gimmick. I think for the NHL in the regular season, it's fine. But at the
Right.
Olympics, I don't think they should have done it at the Olympics.
I agree. I agree. I think that's something the NHL wanted, to be honest with you. They want to try to limit injuries as much as possible, liability to the franchises, stuff like that. Just an opinion. I don't know if that's fact or not. Um, but yeah, I think they're I don't know what the odds are for an overtime game, but it can happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be another overtime. I really do.
I think whoever forechecks the hardest
Right.
wins this game.
Yep.
Whoever goes and pressures those D-men. I mean, besides Makar, the other guys don't move that well. Quinn Hughes, I saw one play yesterday. I think it was in the second period. He got the puck where the puck was coming to him in the neutral zone, and he stopped on a dime and he turned around. And I turned to my coworker. I said, "That's disgusting." Like,
He's
just what
incredible.
it like you said, he skates like Bobby Orr did. Zach Werenski can skate. So I mean, yeah, they got to chip it in and they got to beat these fast guys down and get it in. And once they get down there, they got to crash and bang. I was yelling at the screen yesterday during the game, like it's like no one's hitting. No one is hitting anybody. I think tomorrow there's going to be hits galore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
These these
They have
guys,
to.
I get it. There's teammates playing teammates, but guys, I think the Kachuk brothers are just going to go nuts tomorrow. It's gonna be great to watch. I love them. I love those guys from afar. I love the way they play. I just they wear their heart on their sleeve. They want this. That's
Right.
what they want this. You
Right.
just you see it on their face. On the Canadians, I it's hard to explain the difference from what I see it on the Americans' faces versus what I see in the Canadians' faces. And being playing ball hockey my whole life, you can see like there's a game face and there's guys that are like, okay, let's just go out there and whatever happens, happens.
Right.
So
I'll tell you what, the Kachuk brothers, if they can get away with it, they'd be playing old time hockey every
100%.
shift.
Yeah.
Every shift. Gordie Howe hat tricks. I mean, you name it. That they would have fit in the 1950s, no problem. 60s and 70s, 80s even. You
Even
know,
eight.
yeah, there's no question about that. That's just how they're wired. Um, I have to ask this question. Were Leafs fans kind of burned up to a certain degree when Marner
It's
scored that?
it was all over the media. So I listen to the station on my phone, and it's called Overdrive. It's got McLennan, the goalie, and Jeff O'Neill on there. They always talk about Mitch Marner. And it's
Yeah,
like this is getting old. And it was all over social media, it was all over the radio. It's like, why didn't Mitch do this for the Leafs? Big game Mitch. There was no big game Mitch when he played for the Leafs. So like, guys, just give it a rest. I mean, I don't want to hear it. The guy didn't want to be here. Let him go. He's playing for Canada. Cheer for him. He's wearing a red maple leaf, not a blue one. If he brings you a gold medal, just cheer for him. Be happy for him. I
Right.
have I have no animosity for any of these guys. Guys come and go all the time. That's why, like, I don't even own a Maple Leaf jersey. I can't cheer for a player because I don't know if he's going to be here in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Right? My favorite player growing up was Wendell Clark.
Oh, he was
He,
a stud. Holy
he
crap.
was there for he was there forever, and then
Yeah.
obviously he got traded to Quebec and then New York, and then he came back to Toronto. So I mean, that was the only Maple Leaf that I could fall in love with.
Right.
And
Well, was
then
he good?
Eric Lindros was another of my favorites. So, I became a Flyers fan. So I had a Flyers jersey with Lindros on it.
You did not say that, did you? You became a Flyers fan.
I did.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
so
That make
yeah,
everybody here in Pittsburgh
I know
cringe.
they all hate me in Pittsburgh. So I wore 88 my whole career playing ball hockey. And then when he came to Toronto, I mean, it was at the end of his career, but it was great. Like I get a Leaf jersey with Lindros on it.
Right.
So
Right.
I just can't fall in love with a player. I can fall in love with the team. I love Sidney Crosby and
Yeah,
Malkin
how could you
and
not?
Letang. Like from afar, there's pockets of players that I love to watch.
Right.
I don't cheer for them to win, but I cheer for them to succeed just because I know they're fantastic players and they're great people. In Toronto, the media, I don't know how it is in Pittsburgh, but I mean in Toronto, the media blows everything up. The
Oh,
guys
yeah.
walk the guy can't walk down the street with his dog. And there's like, oh, did you see what he was wearing? Or did you see this? Or he said this, like, just that's why Marner left. Just, I mean, the media messed this up and the fans messed this up. From what I hear, I don't know how much of it's true that people were camping out in front of Marner's house and threatening him and stuff like that. And he couldn't even walk his dog. They had to hire security. I mean, I I I can believe it because Toronto fans are nuts.
Yeah.
Like Maple Leaf fans are nuts. So
Right.
I can
I
believe
know.
that they would stoop to that.
I know. I know. Mm, I would never go that far. I mean, let me just say the Pittsburgh Pirates haven't won a World Series since 1979. I know that's 12 years after the Leafs won their last cup. I get it. But I do follow Toronto media to a certain degree. I just haven't followed it recently. And having been to Toronto a good 5 times or so, I know I know not just Toronto, but the Leafs, for example, there's a lot of Leafs fans all over the country, and I remember we were driving up to Niagara Falls in, Memorial Day weekend for Pittsburgh, 1993, and we were able to pick up Canadian radio once we were in New York State, and that was the same night that the Leafs lost to the Kings, so the Kings advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals, you know, uh, and fans calling in, but they were actually, they weren't slamming the Leafs. They were just, "Oh, it's too bad." And people were calling in from Manitoba, from Saskatchewan. They were calling from all over the country, so they weren't so much bashing the Leafs. I think it was like the Leafs' first time they had a chance to get to the Cup Finals in who knows how long. We're talking 1993, remember? So, but I guess my point is, Toronto media, New York media are the same.
Yeah.
They're the same. New York media is vicious, and they're vicious to everybody. The Rangers, the Giants, the New York Football Giants, the Yankees. Whenever they have a losing streak, you think that the season's over. I mean, it's really bad in New York, but I know Toronto is just as bad. As far as expectations, watching every inch a person moves when they're not on the ice, all that kind of stuff. You know, I have a question for you, Tom. If Russia is not banned and they're in this tournament,
Ooh,
where would Russia stand as far as how strong all their players are? Would they have knocked off Team USA or Team Canada?
100%.
I think so too. I totally think so.
One
Because
of them would be going home for sure.
right, right,
There's a lot of good Russian players. Like, I mean, I could, you could Google it and see who's there, but you just start off with Kucherov, there's Ovi, there's Malkin, the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
right.
goaltending wise. It would be, and the Russians are quick. I mean, physically, maybe the Americans and Canadians could kind of wear them down to an extent, but it would be really tough to say that the Russians couldn't win a gold.
Yeah. Yeah, my friends and I have been talking about that too, as far as just how strong their roster would be, had they not been banned, from this tournament.
Oh, and Kaprizov in Minnesota. I mean, the list,
Yeah.
yeah, the list goes on.
Right, right, no question about that. Goaltending, they're strong in goaltending, I mean, they have it all. They
Yeah,
really do, they
they
really
do.
do. So, I guess the Americans and the Canadians should be thankful that Russia, was uninvited to play. So, we'll just leave it at that, I
We'll
guess.
leave it.
So, you're saying, USA wins, I'm saying Canada wins, but I'm going OT, another 3-2 game.
Sounds good. Friendly bet. Whoever wins, the other one has to buy a Permanente sandwich next time we come down.
That's right.
There you
I
go.
agree with you.
Okay.
It's on. It's on. Hey, ball hockey. You talked about ball hockey. I played my share of ball hockey growing up. I quit playing when I got married in 1999 because it was starting to get a little bit rough. We had some teams come in who thought they can just be goons, and it wasn't really, sanctioned the way it should have been. So I plus I having a professional job, I didn't want to go to work next day with a black eye. So um tell me about your involvement in ball hockey, the tournaments you've played in all over the place, especially in the Dominican Republic.
So I started playing ball hockey in 1993. That would have been
Okay.
the first year I entered in a league. I mean, I've had a stick in my hand since I was 5 years old.
Right.
We played street hockey until the lights went out or the lights came on. Purple in the face, go home, do it again the next day. Uh, you have to be 18 years old to be in a league, in a men's league. The guys that we grew up with on the street, we decided, hey, let's put a team together with the guys from the other street and the guys from the other street, formed a team, played a few years, got better players. I mean, we're talking, oh God, 30 plus years ago.
Right.
It evolved from there. I mean, we played together as much as we could. Guys are getting older, guys are getting married, guys are having kids, like you mentioned, guys don't want to get hurt. They got to work on Monday. Oh, we kind of split ways. I went off and joined another team in the early 2000s. Again, it was more or less intercity leagues. If you win your division, you get to go to provincials. If you win provincials, then the next year you get invited to regionals, and then it goes on to nationals, etc.
Right.
So I just continued to play. I had shoulder surgery in '07, so I stopped for a couple years, picked up a stick again, and I said, you know what, I missed this game, started playing again, and it's evolved up to where I am now. I'm 50 years old. About I'll go back a little bit. In 2015, I had the opportunity to play at my first World Championships. So, me being of Croatian descent, I decided to build a Team Croatia,
Oh, wow.
and I contacted the governing body of the World Ball Hockey and Deck Federation and asked if I could enter a team. And they said, of course, no problem. They gave me the dates. They said, okay, fill out this form. We need a deposit. And then it started rolling from there. I had tryouts, we had practices, and then we brought the team down. In fact, I don't know if you know, it was 2015 was in Pittsburgh.
I don't remember that, I'll be honest. I
It was
where
at it was at Robert Morris University. They
oh,
have the
right
two.
down the street. Right.
Yeah, they have the 2 decks there, so we went down there for 10 days. It was my first taste of international ball hockey, and I'll tell you this, it was a slap in the face. I was not prepared for what, like, came to me and came to us. We were so used to playing a low level, I wouldn't say recreational because it starts at, let's say, tier 4 is your bottom level, and then tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1. Tier 1 is the best of the best. So we had a mix of all tier 3 and tier 4 players, maybe a couple tier 2 players. And now we're playing Team Canada, we're playing USA, we're playing Ireland, we're playing Slovakia, we're playing the Czechs. So all these teams traveled from afar to play at this tournament, and they're stacked.
Yeah. Wow.
So our first game, we played Ireland, which was yes, they were Team Ireland, but they were mostly Canadian guys from out east, from Newfoundland and Nova
Right.
Scotia.
Where a lot of Irish descents are.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
So I think if I go back, I believe we lost 14-1 or
Wow.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we lost. I'll I'll watch my language. We lost. Uh Second game was, I cannot remember who the second game was. The third game we played Greece. There's a picture on there's a picture on my Facebook um where I'm hugging my goalie, and it's a zoom in shot. We That was our first win. We beat Greece, I believe 7-3.
Okay.
And then we lost our fourth game. We got a spot in the quarterfinals, everyone qualified, and then we lost to Slovakia 4-2 in the quarters. So that progressively we were getting better.
Right. Right. Right.
But it was still we weren't at that level. I tried to progress the team. The team kind of didn't want to do it anymore. So I stopped with international hockey. Um, 20 Around COVID 2020, I guess it was. Team up here, Team North America, they were hosting tryouts.
Okay.
So I went to the tryout and I made the team. It was an over 40 team, I think it was then.
Okay.
Uh, I made the team. We played a tournament during COVID. I eventually caught COVID during that tournament. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Um, we lost in the quarterfinals to the Czechs,
Okay.
9-1, I believe it was.
Ooh.
The Czechs on the world scene, I'll get into that, but the Czechs are the best.
Right.
We lost 9-1. I did score my first international goal against the Czechs.
Nice.
So I got that ball somewhere in my cupboard. COVID kind of lingered around for a couple more years. I stayed with the TNA program, Team North America, and then all of a sudden, all these international tournaments are popping up. Hey, do you want to go to Mount Tremblant in Quebec for 3-on-3?
Wow.
Um, that was 2 years ago, and just so this is 2020. So 2024. I don't want to get into all my history, but you know that I had a little bit of a health scare. I
Right.
went into the
Yeah.
hospital not knowing, I wasn't feeling good, and it ended up being that I needed a pacemaker.
Right.
That being said, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play ball hockey anymore. Team North America kept a spot for me. They said, "Listen, if you still want to come to Mount Tremblant for the 3-on-3s, we'll save you a spot." I eventually went for the 3-on-3. Again, for some reason, I like to lose in quarterfinals. So lost. Our team lost in the quarterfinals yet again. It was a fantastic experience. The backdrop of, like, they set up 10 rinks out in a parking lot. It's all outdoor, down at the bottom of the hill, the backdrop of the mountains.
Oh, wow.
It was unreal. I
Oh,
mean,
but it was great.
yeah, one of the things that I take away from that tournament, I mean, every tournament you always play with new guys, and it's like you gain friendships,
Yeah.
right? Like you're always playing with someone different. And we had one night game under the lights. They had like a center rink where they would put like the game of the night, I guess they would call it. So we ended up playing a team from Quebec, and the captain of that team was Alex Burrows,
No way.
former NHLer.
I remember that name. Yeah.
So Alex Burrows also runs a tournament in Quebec. It's called the Burrows Cup. So he runs 3-on-3 tournaments every year as well.
That's
So
really
he to
cool.
be on Team Quebec, and I got to share the floor with Burrows,
That's
and
really cool.
I won a couple face-offs off him, which was
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
And shaking hands, I came up to him. I have a picture with him, and I said, "You didn't let me win those face-offs, did you?" He goes, I don't like to lose face-offs. So I knew he didn't let me win. So I had, I have a couple face-offs against Burrows.
Right. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And then that fall, we ended up going, like you mentioned, Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
So we're at the airport. We got our gear, we got our hockey sticks. We're standing in line, checking in, and there's hundreds of people waiting in line to check in. They're all looking at us like, "Where you guys on the right flight?" Like, "Yeah, we're going to Dominican." Goes, "To do what?" "To play ball hockey." Ball hockey? It's like we have to explain this sport to everyone we meet because people don't know what ball hockey is.
Right.
Right? I'm like, "Okay, we're playing ball hockey." It's like ice hockey without the ice in the same size rink, except 4-on-4 is a little smaller, but 5-on-5 is the same size rink. We got to run. We can't glide. We wear helmet. We wear gloves. We wear protection. We got to run. These guys are gliding on skates. We got to run and chase an orange ball. So the 4-on-4 rink is 100 feet by 80 feet. Obviously, 4-on-4 and a goalie. We went down and we won bronze
Mm.
in our first tournament. So that was my first medal. And then the following year, we went down to the Dominican again. We split. So the gentleman that ran the organization said, "Let's send 2 teams down instead of one." So he let me captain my own team.
Nice.
We built the team, and unfortunately, we lost to the other Team North America team in the bronze medal game. So
Mhm.
we fourth. Come to 2025, there was a little bit of a, let's say, disagreement between the way I saw things going and the way the organization wanted to go. So I split ways with Team North America. I still keep in touch with a lot of those guys. I
Yeah.
mean, there's friendships. I wouldn't throw anyone under the bus. They gave me my first opportunity at real international ball hockey. So I'm
Mhm.
very thankful to them for that. And then there was a tournament coming up last summer in Buffalo, 5-on-5 World Championships, and I was looking for a team. And a good friend of mine who lives in Buffalo, Paul Sanchez, he said, "Hey, we're holding tryouts for Team USA." I said, "Well, I'm not American." He goes, "Well, we'll talk to the governing body and see if we can get you on the team."
Right.
Okay. And I know the president of the governing body, so I mean, I could talk to him as well.
Mhm.
So I went down, had a couple tryouts, and they said, "Okay, we'll give you a spot on the team." I said, "Okay, well, that's kind of weird. I'm, going to play for the USA and I'm Canadian." Make a long story short, they allowed myself and 2 other guys to represent USA as special imports, I guess.
Sure.
So last May, again, the tournament was in Buffalo at Riverworks, just when you cross the border into Buffalo. And great tournament. We eventually played Canada in the final, went to a shootout and won 1-0
Wow.
in a shootout.
Did you feel bad about beating your own country?
N- no,
Because you won. It's all
because I
about
won.
winning.
And because there's a lot of politics involved in ball hockey, like I don't want to get into that, like the
Yeah,
backs.
yeah, yeah, right.
But there's certain guys on that team I didn't care for, but there's friends on that team that I'm still friends with today, and I was friends with before the tournament started. So yes, it was tough to see them lose, but at the same time, I mean, I've never experienced winning a gold medal.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, it was wearing the red, white, and blue, but to see how it made the American players feel, it
Yeah,
was
true.
surreal. It was
Right.
unreal to see
Right.
how, like, this meant the world to them
Yeah.
and in their backyard.
Mhm.
And, but they opened their arms to me like they didn't consider me Canadian, right? He's one of us.
You're a
Like,
teammate. Right.
I'm a I go down to Buffalo, anywhere in Buffalo, they open their door for me. "Hey, if you need a place to crash." Hey, you're going to rent a hotel room? Just cancel the hotel room. Come down and crash. I got extra
That's
beds.
cool.
That's how they were. Like everyone was so welcoming. And,
That's great.
Americans get, I, I don't know what it is. It probably goes both ways, but Americans get a bad rap that they're, you know, not the nicest people. I'm like, you got to spend some time down there and talk to these people. I've never met a bad person in Buffalo. I've never met a bad person in Pittsburgh. I've been there probably half a dozen times.
Right.
They're not bad people. You're maybe meeting the wrong people, or you're coming off as an arrogant Canadian. Yeah, I'm Canadian. So I mean, yeah, it was crazy. And then when I went up to the after the game, we celebrated a little bit. I went up to the border, and she goes, the border guard says, "Do you have anything to declare?" And I was wearing my gold medal around my neck, and jokingly I said, "Oh yeah, I got this gold medal." She didn't even give me a look. She gave me stink eye. I'm like, okay, sorry, yeah, just my hockey equipment. Just came back from ball hockey. She's
Yeah.
okay, have a good day. And that was it.
I'll tell
So,
you what, yeah, that's really great. That's great, great synopsis, man. Great story. I
and
appreciate
then
it.
we came back. So I stayed with the US program. We went to Dominican again
Mhm.
last fall. Uh, Not the greatest turnout. We finished fifth. It was a strong tournament. Canada eventually did win that one.
Okay.
Believe the Czechs finished second. But in the pecking order of ball hockey, like the top, I would say like so we play Legends, which is over 45, and
Yeah.
then there's over 35, and then there's an open division, which is any age, right?
Okay.
So amongst those three divisions, you're always going to see USA, Canada, Czechs, Team North America. So those 4 or 5, I mean, Greece won, I believe Greece won the Open this year.
Okay.
They were fast, young, fast kids. They played exceptionally well. So, I mean, the sport is growing
Yeah.
slowly. And more teams are going to come out, and, it's just going to make the product better.
Yep.
Uh,
Good.
and the tournament, maybe there's going to be more tournaments. And
That would be
now,
great. That would be awesome.
and like, there's tournaments. I mean, if people just Google ball hockey in the US, it's, it's crazy big.
Right.
There's the National Ball Hockey League, which I play in Buffalo every Sunday in the summer. They have leagues in multiple states. There's there's one in PA, there's Buffalo, there's Mass, there's Jersey, there's Long Island, there's one in Florida, I believe there's one in California. They opened up one in Vancouver now.
Okay.
Um, so it's growing. I'm
Good.
I'm in the talks to bring a division up to Toronto for not this summer, but next summer.
Okay.
To hopefully bring up a division in Toronto next summer.
Right.
Uh, there's tournaments every weekend, cool hockey events. There's a tournament this weekend in Long Island, an over 50 tournament. I was
Okay.
supposed to go, but I couldn't get the time off. So, but they make it that they still have these age categories for guys who still want to play,
Yeah. Right.
right? So over 50, you have to be 50 years old that year and up. So we have guys that are in their 60s playing.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah. So
great.
in the sport is huge. And I don't mind explaining it to people because I'll be at the airport and someone will be sitting beside me and saying, "You play hockey? There's ice in Dominican?" I said, "No, we play indoors, no ice." Oh, I mean, could be like this little old lady, and I'll just sit with her and talk to her for an hour.
Yeah. Sure.
So I mean, it is growing. I mean, it's always been big in my eyes because I've been playing it for 30 plus years. But
Right.
I think just so much bigger than it was before, and the social media aspect is crazy,
Yeah.
crazy
That's great. I'll have to start following all that.
for
I've been
sure,
following your journey since we met. Um, and based on schedules and everything, I'd actually like to come up, whenever you have your league formed in Toronto. I think that'd be a
for
fun
sure.
weekend. You know, my extent of playing hockey is basically me out on the street with a couple hockey balls trying to put it in the mailbox. trying to risk it in the mailbox.
Yeah.
I don't want to take a slap shots. I don't want to break a front window in my house. Um, but I played all throughout the '90s, like I was saying earlier. It was my brothers and I, two of my older nephews who are closer to my age, and some other friends. We actually did win a championship in our league, and we played year round, and it was always outside.
Nice.
It could be like 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 90% humidity. We're out there sweating our asses off. It could be 5 degrees in January, and there's only five of us who show up plus a goalie. And you don't even have a chance to sit. And it's 5-on-5 regulation rink. And I was in the best shape of my life back then, because again, it's playing year round and I loved it. We all loved it. And our big rival was sponsored by a bar that's no longer open in Robinson Township, the next town over from Moon. And it was a fierce rivalry. It was physical. There could have been a couple fights. We stopped ourselves short of actually getting into a brawl because
Right.
we realized that we shouldn't take it that far. But they ended up inviting us down to the Brothers Grimm to hang out with them. So what rivalry brings camaraderie.
Like I joke around with my friends and, with my fiance Janine all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you have a playoff game, you're killing these guys, probably saying things you wouldn't repeat to your mom. And after the game, you go into the parking lot, share a beer.
Absolutely. Well, that's how rugby is. Rugby's the same thing. Rugby may have like the most camaraderie of all sports. You get these here in Pittsburgh, the traditional league was just two teams. The Harlequins, and I can't remember the name of the other team. And this is when rugby was just starting to get a little bit popular in Pittsburgh. And these two teams would just, smash the crap out of each other. And then they'd go to a local bar and hang out for a couple of hours. And then they end up traveling, going to see, you know, like a kind of like what FIFA does, like a World Cup of rugby. It's been hosted here in America. A friend of ours who owns a bar down the road, he and his buddies went to England and went to the World Cup when it was hosted in England. So
Nice.
but the camaraderie is just unbelievable. And that's how it was with hockey too. And I have some friends that are still playing ice hockey down here, officiating, playing, etc. And it doesn't matter who they're playing against, they're gonna hang out after,
Right.
because all it's the love of hockey. And
For sure.
it is such a great sport. I've been going to Penguin games since I was a little kid, back when they were wearing blue and white, and I remember like Sil Apps. I remember Jean Pronovo. I remember, gosh, man, so many players from that roster. Ron Stackhouse, Dave Burrows. I remember when Ennis was a goalie for the Pens, and then we had Denny Herron. Um, I remember the Canadians coming down and dominating every time they played at the Civic Arena. And I'm a little kid, I'm 7 years old. I remember all this. And I'm like, oh, the names are different. Why are the names different? I didn't realize, that in Quebec, people speak French. And then at that point in the Montreal Canadiens history, the vast number of players were French Canadian, but I remember Guy Lafleur, Yvon Cournoyer, Ken Dryden just leaning on his stick because he was bored because
Yeah.
all the action was on the other end of the ice. Um, that dynasty of a team, 76 to 79, that was some of the best hockey you're ever going to see in the past 50 years, plus. That team was just unbelievable. I actually remember Bobby Orr whenever he came, played when he was with the Chicago Blackhawks. So I can say I remember him playing. I'm very proud of that.
Wow.
You know?
Nice.
Yeah, that was in probably 1976. I was 6 years old, but
I
I
was
remember it.
one.
What's that? Yeah, you
I
were
was
one. Yeah,
one.
I got 5 years on you, man.
Yeah.
But Gordie Howe playing for the Hartford Whalers with his sons. Um, got to see him play. And then when Gretzky came in the league, you couldn't get a ticket for a Pens game. Everybody went to see Gretzky. But, outside of Edmonton, you were seeing about like an average of 4,000, 5,000 people coming to see the Pens play because they were so bad. And then they drafted Mario Lemieux. And it took a couple of years. And then hockey just really started to build up here in Pittsburgh. And by the time they won the cups in 91 and 92, everybody's kids were playing hockey. More hockey rinks were being built. More high school teams are starting to develop programs and have, to this day, almost every high school has a hockey team now. So the sport's really grown in the Pittsburgh area, Western Pennsylvania. And like I said earlier, we got 2 guys from Pittsburgh on the Team USA roster. So hockey's huge here in Pittsburgh, as it is with the northern part of the country. It's just one of the best sports ever, and it always will be.
Agreed.
Always will be. For as much as I love the NFL, Major League Baseball, college basketball, I'm not a big NBA fan. I don't hate it, but you have to go to for me, I have to be at a game to really say, hey, it was a fun time watching these 2 teams play, whatever. It's just, and I'm a big soccer fan too. I mean, I can't, not include soccer in this conversation, but I watch as many Pens games as I can, and I've been watching almost every game on Peacock or on NBC, for the Olympic tournament. And, I just can't wait for tomorrow morning. I really can't wait.
Before you let me go, I
Yes.
do have something for you.
Oh,
So this is my jersey that I won the gold medal
my
in Buffalo.
gosh.
So I will send this down to you as soon as I can.
You don't have to do that, but oh my God, I'm going to frame that. I'm going to frame that. That's
So
beautiful.
that's one of the jerseys we wore for the tournament.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Not a problem.
That's super, super nice of you. You don't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your time coming on. This was a lot of fun to talk about this, even though it's a podcast, we're not in person talking to each other, but let's make it a point to hang out this summer, man.
100%. We can do
Yep.
this live.
Yes, absolutely. I can always bring my podcast up to Toronto. No problem. And I
Sounds
have to
good.
say, one of my favorite things about coming up to Canada, we don't have any Tim Hortons here in Pittsburgh.
You can go to Buffalo and get one, I think.
Well, the closest I can go is Steubenville, Ohio. It's just a small little rainy-deeny place. And then up in Meadville is like about an hour and a half north on the way to Erie. They have a Tim Hortons up there, but
You know what
yeah,
the funny thing is? We
yeah,
don't like Tim Hortons.
you don't?
No, we drink McDonald's coffee.
McCafe, not bad. No, but there's a mystique about Tim Horton.
It is, yeah.
He played for the Penguins for
Yeah.
a little bit, and just how he, started his donut company. And they're international. There you can find Tim
Oh
Hortons.
yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And I think it's great that it's a hockey. I wouldn't go as far as saying he was a hockey legend, but he is a legend because he became a great entrepreneur.
He's a legend up here for sure.
Good, good. I like to hear that. Well, Tom, hey, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be texting each other tomorrow throughout the game, after the game, and we'll see if our predictions hold true.
Fantastic. Have a good one.
Yeah. Hey, you take care. We'll be in touch, man. Thank you so
Okay.
much for joining.
Cheers.
Take care, bud. Bye-bye.
Bye.